comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Oocha, 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 oocha. It's my impression of EDM music. Oocha, 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 oocha. It's called stimming. I'm stimming. Sometimes I'll hear something and it sets off something in my brain and I'll repeat it several times. There's one song that should not be played around me, especially if my wife is around, and that is The Bird. Bird is the word. About the bird, bird, bird. Bird is a word. Bird, bird, bird. See, I can't help it. Bird is a word. It's still going on in my head. Stimming is a, well, let's look it up. Let's look it up here. I'm going to have to actually go here and ask what it is because I have that set up for the live. What is stimming? Stimming is short for self-stimulatory behavior. It refers to repetitive movements, sounds, or other actions that individuals engage to regulate their emotions, sensory experience, and cope with stress. That's what it is. Bird, bird, bird. Bird is a word. All right, body movements, rocking, spinning, hand flapping, foot tapping, finger fidgeting. I've always done those. Vocalization, humming, whistling, repeating words or phrases. Object manipulation, twirling objects like twirling your hair, tapping objects, rubbing textures. Smelling objects, sensory exploration. Smelling objects, staring at lights, listening to repetitive sounds. Yeah, and it works too. It helps regulate my emotions. So what does it do? Well, it calibrates your senses. Okay. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but there's certain smells that I love. I can't get enough of it. And I don't know why. Lysol is one of them. Right? Lysol is one of them. Gasoline. Love the smell of gasoline. If it's on my hands, I can't stop sniffing it. I'm not huffing. I just can't get enough of the smell. It probably reminds me of something good in my life, right? It helps manage your emotions. Stimming can be a coping mechanism for anxiety, boredom, or frustration. And here's where it helps me. It helps me focus my attention. Repetitive movements or sounds can help individuals block out distractions and improve concentration. Yeah. Most alcoholics do utilize stimming. Music is kind of a stimming thing. If you listen to one song on a regular basis, right now my big one's Upside Down by Jack Johnson. It's just got that sound to it that makes me kind of bounce around and feel good about things. Stimming. This is a stim. All right. My biggest stim when I was growing up is I would shake my leg. I'd bounce my leg. I don't know how many times. Can you stop bouncing your leg? Well, give me a drum set. Maybe I'll stop. Stimmers like to tap things. Is the reason why one of the rules for the podcast is that you can't have pens around you. Yeah, it's one of the rules. Because otherwise, eventually, if it's sitting right in front of you and you're a stimmer, you'll eventually pick it up. Yeah, that doesn't sound great, does it? Yeah, I wasn't planning on stimming, and then bird came up. It's going through my bird. Can't help it. See? kind of an OCD. It's kind of an OCD thing too, where sometimes you see some people they have to do certain things for, may going through a door, may they have to tap it 3 times. Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, he's a big stimmer. Usually it goes along with some mental illnesses, some traumas that we've had in our lives. For me, it tends to bring me back, right? So, yep. See, we learn all sorts of things here, don't we? Yes, we do. I've got a clinical side of me that, so let's get started. Like and love. We're going to start with love first. Because it seems like, at least for me, it's easier to love than it is to like. Welcome to Dawson Daily Touch. Yeah. Hey, another stim. Yeah. What are other stimmings? Impersonations. Sounding like a pirate. Arg, pirate. A lot of them. All right. If you're here, please say hello. Whether you're watching the live or the rewatch or just stimming around. All right. Maybe I should just name this. Maybe I should change the title to Like, Love, and Stimming. Like and loving stimming. I love to stim. You pull out your beard a lot? Yeah. I'll do it playing with twirling. And yeah, girls that twirl their hair, they're stimming. It's helping them focus. It's doing some things. So let's start with love. All right. I've got an AI overview over here. Sorry, Sam. But don't feel lonely. Every single person here was saying how they stim. So hey, Michelle, it's good to see you. Good to have you. All right. So like I said, we're going to start with love. And what I did is I got an overview of what does it mean to love somebody for who they are? Because that's really what we're going for. Now, why do we need to love somebody for who they are? I would tell you that, talking like Arnold Schwarzenegger, absolutely, or be Bach. I do a lot of Leonette, Raisinette. Some things in here don't react well to bullets. Then, if you can guess who that was, then I did a good job. If you don't, then I did a horrible job because everybody knows that actor. But I have to say Raisinettes first, or Leoness. Raisinette. See, it's still off. All right. Now, why is it important that we love people for who they are? It's a way to acceptance, man. You know, when I talk to God in the morning and I say, yo, HP dude, I need your direction. I need some direction. I'm going through something. I need your direction. Well, in my experience, God talks to his children. And he ain't going to tell me which one. It's one of the big reasons why we need to love people for who they are, so we can listen to what it is that they're saying, because God might use a person that you do not like, in order to get his message through to you. You don't get to pick who God talks to or talks through. We don't get to pick that part. So loving people for who they are. What else does it do? Well, it allows us to hold space for these people, even though they're annoying us. We're going to call it what it is around here. It's the way we do things, right? It frees you from anger. It frees you from wanting to have power or control over this person. It also stops me from giving unsolicited advice. So let's go here. Let's see what they have to say. Let's see what Dion agrees with and disagrees with. It's an AI overview. I'll argue with AI because it can't talk back. You know, AI kind of scares me in the fact that, it's copying voices and things like that. I'm afraid that AI is going to take over real acting and some talent, because there's nothing like the human connection, man. People that have, the girlfriend, an AI girlfriend, that's scary. That's scary stuff because there's no human connection. But it's a great resource for things that you're So use it as appropriate, right? Like anything else. So, all right, to love someone for who they are means accepting their strengths and weaknesses, their quirks and flaws, and cherishing the unique person they are without wanting them to change or becoming something different. All right. I don't know how many times I've heard this in my life, not so much anymore. Well, I married him because he's a fixer-upper. I'm going to change him into the man that I need to be. Well, good luck on that. Because it's not going to work. That's not unconditional love in our book. Now, let's cover this because it said unique. And, we know that we are not terminally unique, right? Hey, Chris, good to see you, brother. Love you, dude. So, we are not terminally unique, but we are beautifully unique. See, when it comes to love, you got to find the beauty in the person. You got to, actually, we're kind of getting into like on that because liking someone's harder for me than loving someone. It really is. But sometimes I have to utilize like to get to the love. And we'll discuss that a little bit more, right? So I accept you for who you are. When you walk into the rooms of AA, I accept you for who you are. The podcast does this. Hey, Scott, good to see you, bro. I think actually I saw you earlier and said hi. Yeah, Chris, I don't know if you saw that, but Scott's saying hi to you, telling you telling you he loves you. You got a lot of people that love you, Chris. I'm sorry, you keep calling me at weird times, brother. So, but you know how I feel. All right. There's some odd ducks out there, aren't there? Here's a good example. You see a video where they've recorded somebody walking down the street acting weird, and we know they're probably on drugs or whatever. But for us, then other people start laughing and da da da. Now, see, accepting somebody for who they are goes along with the "but for the grace of God go I." See, I am perfectly capable of acting crazy. I'm perfectly capable of it. Absolutely, I am. Yeah. Sam says, I love parents. I've had to forgive them for what they don't know. Realistic boundaries and expectations, regardless if they are my parents, because I love them. Yeah. There's several people in my family. I love them for who they are, but that doesn't mean I have to hang out with them. Sometimes my love is staying away so that I don't run my mouth and make things worse, right? Because I have to be a person that brings harmony, not confusion. That can be pretty tough sometimes, huh? It can. It's about being the bigger person. And guess what? We've spent most of our lives not being the bigger person, but there we are being extraordinary again. You got to be the bigger person. It's got to start somewhere. And God may have chose you to start it. Well, if you can love somebody for who they are, gosh, that's going to make that a lot easier. Unconditional love. This type of love is not dependent on external factors or actions of the other person. It's about loving them for their core essence, not for what they do or say. That's unconditional. And this is what Sam was just talking about. That's an unconditional love. Right? I do understand that sometimes people have taken things too far. But even if you're not talking to somebody in your family, you can still provide unconditional love. You can still pray for them that they get everything in this world that they deserve. But that's between God and them. That is between God and them. Unconditional love frees me from the power or control that I think I might have over somebody else that I don't really necessarily have. All right. Appreciating individuality. Oh, yeah, man. I love individuality. In fact, the more off you are, the more I may like you. When people are them true selves and it goes against what would be the norm in the world, and they give no apologies for being who they are. I love those people. I love the odd ducks. I love crazy people because I love me. All right. All right. Hmm. Do you give yourself unconditional love? I can't answer that for you. Does Dion give himself unconditional love? For the most part, but not all the time. Not all the time. Well, um, but it does have to start with me. I cannot love you unconditionally unless I love me unconditionally first. Woo! All right, roll. Yeah, yeah. Very good, Sam. Love is not transactional. Absolutely, I would agree with that. Yeah, yeah. I need to I need to appreciate that they are who they are because of what maybe they've gone through some things that I don't know about yet. Almost every single person in this world is going through something right now that we don't know about. Right? Because they're not going to run around and yell and scream their problems, but we're all going through something. Well, if we can show a little understanding, a little tolerance, patience, kindliness, encouragement, you know, if I can put aside what it is that I feel about this person and listen to them, then a few things will happen. Number one, I will become a better person because I will learn something from it. And number two, maybe I might be able to be of help, if for nothing else, to sit there and listen. Right. So appreciating individuality, it means recognizing and appreciating their unique qualities, interests, and perspectives. Yeah. The very second people start placing conditions on love, it ceases to be love. And then it becomes what would I would probably consider a demand. What's a lot of the demands that we've heard? If you don't get sober, I'm going to leave you. I had somebody important in my life. They used to tell me, I love you, Dion, but I love you over there. That hurt. And I don't feel like that's unconditional love. That feels very conditional to me. That means stay over there and I'll continue to love you. At least that's what I heard. If you have a different version of it, please put it up. I'd love to hear it. Change my mind on that. Maybe I won't be so sensitive about it because I am. I'm sensitive about that. Right. So since we're not terminally unique, well, what are we? Well, we're beautifully unique. Think of it like snowflakes. Every snowflake that falls to earth before it hits the ground is a different shape, a different size. It is a lot of different things. It is unique. But once it hits the ground, that uniqueness is ended, has it not? And then it becomes the part of a whole. And that's what makes snow beautiful. One flake in and of itself isn't going to do much. It doesn't, you know, it isn't going to do much, right? And then what's neat is they fall to the ground and somehow they hook together, they stay together, and they become something of a bigger whole. And that would be Alcoholics Anonymous for us, right? Yeah. It's similar to what I said. Okay. Seeing the whole person. Yeah. That goes along, I think, a lot with appreciating individuality. Right. Okay. So you're saying that I don't have to put up with the abuse even though I love them, like I had said earlier. Got it. Thank you, Amber. So seeing the whole person is about seeing the person as a complete individual with both their positive and negative traits and loving them for the totality of who they are. Even in their craziness, even if they're drinking. I'm a housing first person, and that housing first is not conditional on whether you're going to straighten out your life or not. I want you to. I hope it's part of the process. Absolutely, I do. I hope it helps you get to a place where you can work on your problems and ease up not having to worry where you're going to sleep and eat and shower, brush your teeth, take a poop. You know, when you're relieved of those things, life becomes a little bit easier, and then you can focus on some other things. But it is not a requirement in my book. That's a something for nothing, man. Okay. And we're not dire straits here. Amber says, I mean, they apply to my relationship with my mother right now. Yeah. Very good point, Amber. Thank you on that. I appreciate the different, I like the comparison. See, when we do stuff like that, it makes it easier for me to accept them for who they are, right? Yeah. I love her over from the other side of the mountains. All right. Embracing imperfection. I ain't perfect. I'm striving towards perfection, but I'm not perfect. And I can accept that. Well, then I should be able to accept that in other people also. Here's a big one. Let's say somebody says something, but one word in it was wrong, but you still knew exactly what they meant. Don't correct them. Don't correct them. They're going to correct themselves anyway. And my reply is always, I understood what you meant. Which I'm saying, you don't need to correct yourself like that. I get it. Oh, no, you made a mistake. You don't need to stop and correct that and change it and get off your rhythm there for me. Not required. And what is that? Well, it's holding space for other people that this is how I trust people. I trust you're going to be human. That's what I trust. It's the only thing I really trust with people. All right. Sam says, really helped me once I realized my love was actually enabling in many cases, loving to death, a skewed version of love that had to be broken when I came to AA. There again, was it really love or was it a demand? For me, it was usually demands, but I hear exactly what you're saying. Leisure said there's one constant in all my relationships. That constant is me. I am the one that needs to deliver the love unconditionally. You cannot transmit something you do not have, and you cannot receive something you are not giving. When it comes to what we're talking about. Yeah. See, that's a twofold thing. You can't transmit what you don't have, and you can't receive something that you don't give, like love. Right? Now, let me explain that. If I love Dion for all of his imperfections and I am my own worst critic, then, I can love you for who you are. Now, I'm open to receive real, true love from other people without thinking it's conditional. Okay? So that goes both ways for me. True love recognizes that no one is perfect, and it's about loving someone despite their flaws, not in spite of them. The belief of having to earn love. I hear what you're saying on that. For me, that would be like, you have to earn me liking you. I'm telling you, it's a lot easier for me to love than it is for me to like, because love gives me an acceptance of who you are. I'll tell you the difference. For me, love is given. Oh man, I lost the train of thought on that one. It'll come back. Yeah, Claire Joyce, can't be conditional or transactional. All right. But liking kind of needs to be. All right. Love like a dog loves. What, with abandonment issues? I'm just kidding. But it was funny. It was funny. That's why I like, when I come home, my cats don't greet me. I walk in there like, oh, you left? But a dog, no, they will know. They will know, right? So focus on the core. It's about loving the person's character and essence, rather than their outward appearance or accomplishments. Yeah, even when I was dating, even while I was drinking and dating, you had to have at least half of mine, man. You had to be able to at least have a conversation with me, right? It was just hard for me to connect. It wasn't just all looks for me, you know. My brain needs to have that tantalization every now and again. I'm a person that likes deep thought. I like deep conversations. Conditioned by the narcissistic parent for context, many won't find our program and gain perspective. Yeah. And that's a bummer because they're missing out on a part of life that I feel everybody deserves to be loved. To be loved. So let's move on to like. Let's move on to like. For me, liking someone, I tend to decide whether I like you or not pretty quick. I feel like liking is almost more judgmental for me. Okay. So there's a lot of people that I quote unquote don't like, but I can love them for who they are. Huh. So I got to do a little extra work for me when it comes to like, maybe it's opposite for you. Okay. Take it how you need it. A loving action is better than words could ever be. Absolutely. You know, go back and, a few weeks ago, I did the 5 love languages. Go back and listen to those. A lot of great information, or go look it up. You can go look it up. And just put in what are the 5 love languages? Go ask Uncle Google. All right. So a lot of times I'll be sitting in a meeting. All right. And somebody's talking, and I'm not going to use any examples as to why I wouldn't like them because they're negative. And I don't feel like that really fits here. So what I will do is I will try and listen for the things that they're saying that I agree with. Take what you need and leave the rest, right? All right. I will look at them and try and appreciate some of the things that I like about them. Even if it's the shirt they're wearing. You got to start somewhere. And even a small start is a mighty beginning, right? But what it does for me is it changes my attitude. Oh, this guy's talking again. I'm not gonna think about what they're saying, and maybe I'll, whatever. Maybe you take out your headphones so you don't have to listen to them, or you go la 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 because you're in a in-person meeting. All right. Try loving someone that has hurt you. I do that. A lot of people in this world that hurt me. Oh, my whole family. Pretty much everybody so, but I would challenge to say, why did you let them hurt you? But that's not where Leisure is going with that. But what he's saying is, at least, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that, if you try and love the person that has hurt you, and you're going to have to utilize forgiveness. So here we go again. You got to forgive yourself first. If you're having a hard time with somebody that you can't forgive, it's probably because you have not forgiven yourself about something in a similar situation. It's usually what it is, right? So I look for things that I like in them. And what that does is it helps me be a little bit more open-minded about what they're saying. Because in the beginning of this live, I talked about that God, for me, my experience is I ask God for direction, and then He speaks through His children, and I don't get to decide which ones. Okay, because when I am disliking someone, or I am making making it so that I can't love them because I want to justify an anger. The only person I am hurting is myself. We call that shooting yourself in your own foot. Don't say that. Don't take off your nose to spite your face. Okay. So, it's the same attitude that I had when I was drinking, where I would drink the poison that others gave me thinking it would hurt them. No. But it becomes bigger than that, doesn't it? Because it really doesn't just hurt me. Then it's going to start hurting the people around me because I'm going to have a bad attitude. Or maybe I will go after that person in particular. I will spend my days going down rabbit holes. Because if I walk around trying to look for the bad in something, I'm going to find it. It's the type of person that's hardest for me to work with, is a person that it does nothing but tries to look for the bad things about me. You're going to find them. Fancied or real, you're going to find them. Because I'm human like you, and I'm fallible. That happened this week. A couple people stopped following me because of a topic that I talked about the other day. That it's hard to speak your truth. I'm not even going to get into what I said. A lot of you were there. And a lot of people, they kind of got upset with me. And I guess I didn't qualify enough that it was the message you needed to listen to. Right? Leisure says, don't step on your dick. I'm not even going to add to that. Sam says, like can be placed amongst any preference in our life. A great quote. A mind living for preferences is a mind that suffers. Yes. Okay. And a negative thought will lead to what? Another negative thought. Oh, well, then today's a bad day. Then today's a bad day. That's all there is to it. I have quoted something. Yes, those are all character defects, Kathy. You're absolutely correct. Those are my character defects. And my character defects have done what? Well, they continue to get me drunk. They lead to an arduous life that I don't deserve. I don't deserve. If there's going to be anybody in this world that you need to give grace to, it's you. Because there again, that one line on page 164 where it says you can't transmit something you do not have applies to all of this. You cannot love unless you love yourself. You cannot give grace to other people unless you give it to yourself. You cannot truly forgive somebody else until you truly forgive yourself. It's not possible. I know. I tried. It didn't work. That's why you have to do recovery for yourself. That's why you have to do the steps for you. You can get sober for any darn reason you want. I don't care what it is. Hey, my neighbor made me eat sand. It's time for me to sober up. Fucking great. Let's do it. Any reason. Well, that sounds silly. No, it doesn't. Not in my book. Right? Because unconditional love. All right. But what all of this leads to is an ultimate freedom. You hear me talk about freedom all the time. See, when I look at somebody and I see that they're doing something that I used to do, what kind of goes through my mind now is, God, can you please help them find your grace like you did for me? So that they can find you and that they can have a better life, because they don't deserve to be beating up on themselves like that. They don't deserve that, man. Now I take a different view at things where, oh, that person's crazy. That person's toxic. No, but for the grace of God, go Dion. That's the real answer. I liked a lot of things that were killing me. I didn't love myself. I love myself. Now I like the things that bring me grace and reverence. Yeah. Or we understand that humility and character building gives us a lot more satisfaction than fighting. Because that's all that is. It's just fighting. It's defiance. You know, right now the world's a little uneasy, man. It's a little uneasy. Right? And you know what the devil does best? Distracts you. It's what the devil does best. All right. Especially people with ADHD, right? Just another mental health joke. Just another mental health joke. But, you know, only the odd ducks and crazy people really listen to me. Take that as a joke too. Okay. The odd ones, no. The crazy one, yeah. I don't really think you're crazy. I don't actually believe that. All right. So when they say the saying, you know, it's an inside job, it really is true. It really is true, you know. And that ultimate freedom that you can have and deserve, you deserve it. You bet you do. And you're not required to go through you do not need to make your life harder in order to reach that. It's not a requirement. Right? It's not a requirement. Oh, Sam, I already knew you had ADHD. Everybody that talked about how they stemmed. That's how I knew it. Just kind of goes out. Well, that and you did a podcast with me and kind of told me. So, but and there again, you know, with these diagnoses for like ADHD and these different things, you know, can you love yourself for that? My PTSD wasn't my fault. No. I felt unsafe. Nobody ever fucking protected me. I was a child, man. Nobody protected me. No one ever had my fucking back. You know? So, Leisure says, when the devil does that to me with my ADHD, I know it's time to pick up my fidget spinner. I know it's time to start stimming. Bird. Bird is a word. It's going to be stuck in your head now. I'll give you another one. I'll give you another one. Banana. I know you did it in your head. Banana. Banana. Right? So a lot of this is just, you know, it's part of the process. I don't know how long it took everybody else, but it took me a long time to love Dion for who he was with all these diagnoses. You know, the example that's coming to mind is a lot of people ask me what kind of work I do. And I don't work in the sense of what normal people would think is work, but right now I'm working. This is what I do. You know, and you know, my self-esteem was pretty low for a long time because I couldn't hold a job. I still can't really hold a job. Right? So what did I do? Well, it was a process of replacement. You know, I started doing esteemable things. And esteemable things is doing something for somebody else without any expectation of any return. That's it. Rock lobster. Banana. Rock lobster. Now we'll just start mixing them up, right? Yeah. All right. I think that's a wrap on this one. 40 minutes on liking and loving, I think, is a pretty good dent. Oh. All right. Well, if you have topics If there's something maybe you want to hear that you want me to expand on, please send it out and send it out to me. I always like to offer. Nobody ever does it, but I like to offer. That's not true. Michelle asked me to do the family afterward like last week, so I'll try and get to that this weekend. So there actually was a request for something. I don't mind taking requests. Challenge me, man. Challenge me. You know, I've found that for me the best way to learn is to teach by doing. You know. Yeah. Now we just run around. They're very good, Sam. We'll end it there. Now you just say I love you. Now if I tell you that I like you, you know how much I fucking love you. Right? Do I have different levels of love for different people? Yes, I do. Sure I do. Yeah. You know, when my wife and I, when Shannon and I got back together and we got married, you know, she's like, well, I'm your best friend. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not my best friend. You're my wife, which comes with best friend status and more. So don't discount yourself on that. All right. So, all right. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Hashtag like love. Hashtag like love. That's Dion's. I made it up. You know I do. Peace out. And have a day. Oh, one more thing. The bird is the word.